chains and set us free. Riders on the prairie, the wild and free, bows and arrows, cold 45's decree. No more tyranny, no more lies, under open skies we rise. Fight, fight, fight till we reclaim the night. Cowboys and Indians in the blazing light. Fight, fight, fight till the dawn is near. We'll never live in fear. On the blood moon, we all unite. Horse hooves thunder in the night. No longer slaves to the empire's might. Strength in numbers, strength in rise. On the blood moon, we unite. Horse hooves thunder in the night.
Welcome, everybody, to the 17th episode of the Cowboys and Indians podcast. I am your host, the Native Patriot, but you can call me Maurice. And, of course, with me today is my co-host, Steve Loves Ammo on X, but you can call him Steve. How you doing today, Steve?
I'm doing great, man. I'm very happy we survived the alien invasion that never was.
Well, I mean, technically, there has been an alien invasion happening for the past couple of years.
Ooh.
Actually, I would say the past couple of decades. But now that Trump has been elected, the unprecedented amount of aliens crossing the border, criminal aliens, I might add, crossing the border, is suddenly beginning to decline. So we didn't get the alien invasion of yesterday that was predicted by some guy who created the internet web, and with Trump being interviewed by Joe Rogan 39 days later, December 3rd was depicted to be the day where we had alien battles in the sky. But no, we didn't get that. I'm a little bummed about it.
We did not get Independence Day intergalactic warfare. We're just having a bunch of illegals crossing our southern border right now.
You know, they had that old movie where it was Cowboys versus aliens. And I mean, it could have been Cowboys and Indians versus aliens this time, but we didn't get it.
Yeah, maybe that's the second movie coming out. Maybe it's Cowboys and Indians versus aliens.
Hey, you know, maybe we could just make a little short about it next week. We'll just record some footage when we're there, and it'll be Cowboys and Indians versus aliens.
Maybe if we see on the range, we'll throw a bucket of paint, a bucket of green paint on somebody, and there's the alien. No, we'll probably get kicked out of that venue if we did that.
Yeah. So, we actually have a special guest today. This guy has lived a fascinating life. As you know, from the title, everybody, the guest we're having on is Sheriff Mack. He is an author of several books. He was a sheriff. He played a role in the Bundy Ranch. He sued the federal government, and won. He has done several things in this life that, really shows, well, I would say is an embodiment of patriotism that so many people in this country really, really need to not just learn from, but emulate as well. So I would like to welcome our guest today, which is Sheriff Mack. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm excited for the conversation we're going to have because there's a ton of things that we can cover. And I will say right before we get to your intro that one of my favorite things is he has been married for 49 years to his wife, Dawn, has 15 grandchildren, 5 children of his own, I believe. And I mean, he has built a legacy of his own, apart from the political stuff, apart from the sheriff things that he's done. He has built an entire legacy, which is what I love to see. Sheriff Mack, welcome to the Cowboys and Indians podcast.
Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you. Now, wait a minute, though. I got to ask about this name. So is one of you supposed to be a cowboy and the other one supposed to be an Indian?
Well, I'm the Indian and Maurice is the cowboy.
Oh, okay. Well, that might make sense.
Just kidding. It's reverse.
Well, Maurice, I got to ask you: is your nickname Mo?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so are you Native American?
Mm-hmm. I'm half and half. So I'm half white and half native. Yeah.
Okay, well, okay, that works then. And so, Steve, you're half cowboy.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty accurate because I was born and raised in South Louisiana, but I moved to Texas in
Oh, you're
2016. So I
Texan.
guess
You're
I'm an
cowboy then. All right.
honorary
Well,
cowboy. So
okay, I got to ask you both. I was in government 20 years and I've worked with sheriffs and police for like 35, 40 years. I got to ask you the government question.
Mhm.
Just what do you guys think you need with an assault rifle? Why do you think you need an assault rifle?
I'll let
because
you
the
take
government
this
wants
first
you to
one,
take
Steve.
it from you.
You know, to me, the easy answer to me is that's a nunya.
Ah,
Yes.
what's a
All gun
nunya?
laws are infringements.
None of your damn business.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
It's none of government's business what kind of gun I own or how much ammo I have.
Yep.
They have one skin in the game regarding my right to keep and bear arms, and that's
Mhm.
it. That's it.
Absolutely. And
So-
Sheriff, my handle on X is Steve Loves Ammo. So if you do not understand how much I'm a 2A absolutionist, then you don't know me.
Well, if you have some extra, please send it my way. I don't have enough.
Sure, you're pulling my leg on that one.
Nobody ever has enough ammo.
That's
Come on.
correct.
Yeah.
Hey, we already got Mike Smith saying, Sheriff Mack, that's badass. They already know you. But I mean, in all reality, I do as much as I can to try and promote, even though like I live in Washington State, so the gun laws here are abhorrent. They
Yeah.
are
Yep.
just infringement in every way possible, even though it goes directly against our state constitution. Our state constitution, if you just read it in comparative to the federal second constitution or the Second Amendment,
Yeah.
it would read as more definitive for the individual citizen to have the right to keep and bear arms than the Second Amendment does itself, because Article
Yeah.
1, Section 24 of the Washington State Constitution reads that the right of the individual citizen to bear arms in defense of himself or the state shall not be impaired. Yet we have banned over 50 kinds of assault rifles, and we are not allowed to have any magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. And I mean, there's a ton of other reasons why, like, we don't have constitutional carry. We have open carry, but we don't have constitutional carry. So we're not allowed to have our shirt untucked if you're carrying a gun, because if your shirt's tucked in and it's open carry, that's legal. But if you untuck your shirt and it happens to cover your gun, all of a sudden that's illegal and you're the bad guy.
Wow.
That's concealed. Yep.
Give me a break. Well, I'll tell you
Yeah,
what.
it's wild.
Move, Mo. You need to move to Klickitat County, where Sheriff Songer will protect you and your right to keep and bear arms.
Well, I just might do that.
He's
At
a
least
butt
out of Washington State.
I know
Definitely.
it's
he's a butt kicker, but he's kind of getting up there in years, so he won't be sheriff in 2 years. So maybe you need to find another constitutional sheriff there somewhere in Washington, and there's a few there. So, but we have a real good constitutional sheriff in Maricopa County, which is the greater Phoenix area. You could always move to Phoenix, and that's,
I got family in Arizona, so
come on.
I could do that.
Yeah.
Actually,
So-
I went to Southern Arizona when I was in the Army for my individual training.
Oh,
Sierra
you
Vista.
were you were probably in Buena Vista, Fort Huachuca.
Yes, sir. So you
Yeah.
know my background.
Yep. So
All right. So, one thing that I really want to get out of the way before we kind of dive into the border situation is your role in the entirety of the Ted Bundy ranch debacle, because that's one of the big things that people kind of forget about. And I just would like to hear your side of it, apart from, like, just the Wikipedia entries or what people will say online. I would like to know kind of your opinion of the entire situation and what happened and what you had done to kind of help that situation, or what you saw as an infringement from?
Well, you
from the
made a little
government?
bit of slip. It's not Ted Bundy. It was Ammon
Oh.
Bundy, Clyde Bundy. Ted Bundy was the murderer.
Oh my gosh! Why did I
Murderer.
say? My
So,
bad.
Come on, Bo.
but Ted Bundy was in Utah where I was a cop, and I worked a little bit of Ted Bundy stuff too. So, but
Okay, not Ted Bundy.
the Bundys and their ranch in Bunkerville, Nevada.
Mhm.
I watched on TV what happened to Randy Weaver in Ruby Ridge, Idaho. Later on, he and I met and we wrote a book together. It's out of print, but it was called Vicky, Sam, and America: How the Government Killed All Three. And Randy Weaver was a good man. He was not a racist. And the media tried to paint it that it was okay to kill his son and okay to shoot his wife's head off while she was holding an 11-month-old baby, Elishaba. And that was all okay because he was a racist and a white supremacist. And he was neither. He just wanted to live with his family alone and be left alone by government and raise his family like he wanted. That was it. I watched on TV while that went down, and they brought in the tanks and all the illegal military stuff to go after him and his family. Shot him, shot Kevin Harris, riddled a little 11-year-old boy, Sam. He didn't like to be called Sammy. It was Sam. And then Vicky Weaver was shot in the head while her two little daughters watched her get half of her head blown off. And she slumped over the baby, and then they had to get the baby out from underneath her. Then just a year later, less than a year later, we watched 89 people murdered by the FBI at Waco. And I turned to my wife and I said, I'm not watching these ever again. And that's the reason I went to Bunkerville, because I really felt that the federal government, the FBI, all of them were going to murder the Bundy family. And I think they tried. They went to try to do it. I wrote a book called Are You a David that talks about that incident. And I got it straight from the people who were there. I took my son, who was 19, 20 or so at the time. 10 years ago, he would have been, he was 25 at the time. And so we went there and we wanted to help in any way. And I knew Clive Bundy before. He was quite the activist, and he and I shared the stage at a few events in the Vegas area in Nevada. I think up in the northwest of America. I think it was Idaho. But anyway, I knew him. Not real well, but I knew him. And I went there and we got there a little bit late. And one of our members of the CSPOA, our Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, which all of you can join. In fact, we ask for all of you to join. We want you to join and then ask all your audience to join the CSPOA posse. And make sure you get this hat, because we have a huge deal, and I'll get to that on that later, but we have a huge deal for Christmas. Our Black Friday sale is lasting through the end of this month. And then all of you need to send me a birthday present, because my birthday is December 27th, 2 days after Christmas. So thank you very much. But I was so afraid that I was going to watch this happen again, play out on TV. And the Bundys were completely correct. There were 53. This is what gets me. The media will not talk about. One, the FBI got up in helicopters and machine gun cattle that they couldn't capture. Just slaughtered them.
Yep.
Just the most cruel. You would think that the animal, PETA and other animal groups would have gone crazy and marched against this, but they never did. And so there were 53 ranchers in the Clark County area, and that's the greater Las Vegas area. And one is left today. One. The Bundys. And they were not going to succumb to the government's um, subversion and subterfuge to get them kicked off their land. And they fought and they won. And when it came down to the end of the road on when they were really going to have a showdown, I was on the road behind backed up traffic halfway from Bunkerville, halfway into Vegas. And one of our people called me and said, Sheriff, they've given the order to kill us. And he says, I really believe they're going to kill us. And I just want you to tell my wife that I love her. And so I followed emergency cars on the right shoulder. I followed them and went code 3 right behind them. And I got there right when it ended. And not all of it, but when the threat ended. And the protesters were marching towards the gate to release the cattle in this makeshift corral that the government had put up. And they paid them a couple of $1 million for these cowboys to round them up and put them in this corral. And the order to kill the protesters was given. Stop or we will shoot.
Wow.
And they didn't stop. And then finally, a deputy from the Clark County Sheriff's Office said, I've had enough of this. And he moved down and put his body in the way between the protesters and the hired mercenaries by the federal government and the other 150 snipers that were ready to kill these people, men and women. And so he got there and he said, stop this. You're going to kill these people over cattle? Are you crazy? And then he turned to the protesters and he said, what do you want me to do? And they said, you're the first real authority that we've seen here that we totally recognize, and we'll ask you now. Very humbly, the protester said, what do you want us to do? And this was Deputy Tom Roberts. And he said, you guys take a few steps back. And they did. And then he told the federal government to leave. And they did. And wow. I guess it hit them that we're going to kill these people over cattle. And they were going to, because they just follow orders. Nuremberg officers.
Yep.
And so, excuse me,
no, that's fine. This is
my throat. My voice is leaving, my throat is leaving, and my wife is staying. Thank God. So, so folks, this is the deal. The Bundys won. They kept their ranch, and it's there today. And they would invite you to stop by and have dinner. They're very friendly. They're very open. I know some other things happened later. I did not agree with them going into Oregon and occupying the Murr building outside. Well, it was Oregon. Where was it? Anyway, they were protesting and helping the Hammonds who got screwed over by the government because they served time and a judge released them, said that's ridiculous. And the prosecutors objected, and the government literally talk about double jeopardy. They had to go to prison twice for the same charge. And so this was so absurd. And then Trump, God bless him forever, pardoned them and released this 78-year-old farmer who had committed no crime, but the government went after him anyway, and his son. And I think his name was Steve Hammond. So, folks, we should learn a lot from what the Bundys did, but they stood strong. The Bundys never had guns. Some of the people that came there did. The Bundys didn't tell them to have guns or not have guns. We all have a right to have a gun. Okay. And of course, the media just, oh, no, there were guns. Well, the only people that have really misused guns in the history of our country lately has been the federal government. So we should question whether or not any of them should have guns. But because what does Biden want to do? He wants to arm 87,000 IRS agents.
Yes.
As far as I know, he did.
Yep.
He did arm. And so
well,
all right, that's kind of a good segue.
Yeah.
That's kind of a good segue into our next topic here, which I know that when Trump comes into office, he already said that he is going to start the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency,
Yes.
and they plan on cutting a lot from the government. The overspending, the bloat, the bureaucracy, they want to take a lot of that down. So that way it is not so compartmentalized where we are just wasting money because the government has all of these separate agencies. But I would like to ask you, Sheriff Mack, what do you think the very first thing from the government that should be cut is?
To me, that's really easy. DOGE and Elon and Vivek
Yes.
should have easy on their list Planned Parenthood.
Okay.
Wow.
And I'm not even talking to you about pro-choice, pro-life. No, I am totally pro-life. I am pro-Christian. I am a Christian. And I'm not even getting into that. Does God want abortion? I'm not getting into that right now. I'm getting into one simple little governmental issue. Does the government have any authority whatsoever to force you and me to pay taxes to a private organization that provides no government service whatsoever?
No, sir.
The answer is absolutely not. And that's why this should be first. And if somebody wants to donate to Planned Parenthood, go for it. Okay. But that cannot be forced at the end of a gun, which they do, and put us in prison if we decide we're not paying to that illegal expenditure and an absolutely unconstitutional, unlawful taxpayer expense. This has been stupid. It's unlawful. It's the worst spending and worst corruption that we've ever had, because this has nothing to do with us. Now, you want to go into the other, should we have abortion? That's another deal. Stop this, and it's $500 million a year that should go back into the general fund. And I say put half of that towards veterans.
Put all of it towards veterans. I mean, 500 million in the realm. Just think, we just gave $1 billion, $1 billion to the Congo. Why?
Yeah.
Natural disasters, and apparently it's our responsibility to give $1 billion right before Biden leaves office to them it's just one of those things that instead of spending it responsibly with the American people, they're just money laundering through these various programs that they have around the world. And Planned Parenthood, I can absolutely see how that argument itself is probably one of the better ones that we can cut first. So I applaud your answer.
So yeah. I was kind of expecting a 3-letter organization or even a 4-letter, but the Planned Parenthood kind of took me aback and made me realize that the government overspending and overreach has been an issue for decades. And with DOGE being in or the Department of Government Efficiency, it is not our responsibility to, one, pay for Planned Parenthood, but it's also not a responsibility to send all this money overseas, spending all these money for the illegals.
Foreign aid, cut it, stop it.
Yeah.
It's not up to us. We have homeless veterans, like you were mentioning. We have other people that are homeless. We have our infrastructure that is crumbling. That money should be going to the American people and not to people in Ukraine that the majority, let's face it, the majority of people cannot find Ukraine on a map.
No.
And that is
we should also say,
and needs to go too.
Look, why hasn't the United Nations stopped the war in Ukraine? What have they done even a little bit
they're
to
making
stop?
It worse.
No, they do, and they always have. Ever since they started, America is in constant wars with their permission, with their approval, or when they said to Desert Storm, they said to go do that. We're not subject to the United Nations, and we shouldn't be in the United Nations. United Nations shouldn't be in the United States. And this organization, it was founded by communists. It's run by communists. get out of there, save that money, put that towards veterans, and put the foreign aid towards veterans. And we could get this $36 trillion debt balanced in no time if we were following constitutional principles of spending money. But Washington, D.C. corrupt politicians believe they can do anything they want.
Yes.
And these corrupt politicians actually did this so that they could get votes from women.
Mhm.
And it was Republicans and Democrats.
Sheriff, I want to ask you about Pete Hegseth and his role as at the Pentagon. Do you think he is a good fit?
Yeah, I think he's fine.
I
Yeah,
agree too.
He's a real soldier. What has he done? What has he done so wrong? I
Yeah.
just see a very bright, former military, experienced man. He's smart. He's articulate, and hey, I've seen him play basketball out in front of the Fox studios before, and I'd like to challenge him to a one-on-one.
I think the most important thing for Pete is he's not beholden to the military-industrial complex.
Exactly. He's
he is-
completely independent.
Yes. So, and he made a post today is something about getting rid of the warmongers in DC, because as we know,
Oh,
and
no
it's
wonder they
my-
want to get rid of him.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially Lindsey Graham.
It's my opinion that the United States has been funding both sides of wars for a very long time. And that is why these wars have been prolonged for so long, like in Afghanistan or Iraq, for example. Those wars should have been in and out, or maybe a special forces operation to take out Osama bin Laden or whatever. But these wars are getting funded, and Raytheon and Northrop Grumman and all these companies are getting high kickbacks from these military contracts. And that's what's actually prolonging these wars. And all this money, believe it or not, is going back to Washington, D.C. with these lobbyists and all of these people that are funding these politicians.
No, cut the wars. And I believe that that's going to happen with a little diplomacy instead of Biden and his operation to pay Zelensky back for all that he did for him. Biden owes Zelensky. And so, of course, he's using taxpayer dollars to pay him back.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons why he had pardoned Hunter from 2014 on, even though we had Trump get impeached for asking about what was actually going on over there. He just asked Zelensky,
Criminal.
"Hey,
Criminals.
what's going on over there? Why is this happening?" Then all of a sudden, the very same people who were involved with that, after they impeached Trump, Biden gets elected, and then now we're sending billions and I mean just insane amounts of money over to Ukraine. And
no, I'm tired of the wars. I'm tired of the military-industrial complex. I'm tired of it. It's unnecessary. We're not the world's police, and we got to take care of home before all that. There might be some legitimate, righteous, I hate to say righteous, a right thing to do to get involved in some wars, like the Revolutionary War. The Civil War was inevitable. Sooner or later, the war over slavery was going to happen, and the war over states' rights, which is really what that was about too. But we should not have gotten involved in Korea. There should not have been a Vietnam. There's no way that any of these Middle Eastern wars. What is there? Somebody in Washington D.C. that thinks that we're going to stop 2,000 years of hate and battles and fighting in the Middle East?
Never. It's culture.
Well, Trump
stop being
believes
stupid.
that he can create some kind of peace so we can stop sending as much money over there and just basically work his negotiation tactics, which in all reality, being the leader of the free world, which is what we should be, instead of bowing our knee to all of these, I mean, groups, the World Economic Forum. I mean, you look at NATO, all of these groups that we're bending the knee to. Instead of being the leader of the free world, we have been submissive to all of these worldwide organizations that have been putting us at the forefront of these wars. I mean, don't get me wrong. Our letter agencies, our deep state, whatever you want to call it, they've been participating in this corruption and starting these wars for a very long time. And the sentiment that you shared, being done with these wars and being done with all this, the American people overwhelmingly voted for Trump to end that. They might not fully understand exactly the depth of corruption that we have, but it's beginning to come to light. And I think with this Trump presidency, there will be a lot coming to light that I mean, even the ones who are politically initiated, who follow politics like this, who look into the history of what we can see, I think that even we are going to be surprised by what comes to light in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I pray so. And you know, it's going to take 4 years to get a lot of this done, but I think we can make a lot of huge headway the first year because a lot of this corruption is easy to get a hold of if you have the right people in place. And I think he does. And his leadership is so opportunistic for us to take back our Constitution. Oh, and I got a question for you. What 7 people in the 90s saved the Second Amendment?
7 people in the 90s saved the Second Amendment.
Yep.
Drawing a blank on that one.
I'm not sure.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Got the answer.
7 sheriffs. 6 sheriffs joined me in the lawsuit against the Clinton administration to stop the gun control associated with the Brady Bill. And the Brady Bill was the first time in history where the federal government said, oh, we have a gun control law, but we don't want to enforce it. Oh, we'll make the sheriffs do it. And they literally passed a piece of legislation, pretended legislation, as the founding fathers called it in the Declaration of Independence. And we had to do it. And they threatened to arrest us if we failed to comply. And the Brady Bill modified the GCA, the Gun Control Act of 1968. And this is what people don't know. And this is why I brought up that question. There were 5 Brady bills scheduled to be passed 1 year after the other until the Second Amendment was completely destroyed.
Wow.
And this was the subterfuge of Handgun Control Incorporated and Sarah Brady. And obviously the Brady Bill was named for her husband, who was shot when he served as a press secretary for Ronald Reagan in March of 81. And so he got shot in the head. He was confined to a wheelchair. The Brady Bill was named after him. When we were at the Supreme Court, he was sitting pretty close to me in his wheelchair. And I went over and talked to him and shook his hand, told him how much I admired him. And he said the same thing to me. He said, Sheriff, what you did took a lot of courage, and I admire you, and I have no problems with you at all. And, you know, he was great. His wife was not. I didn't like her at all. And she and I, when we squared off, we got pretty heated. But she was exploiting her husband, and she knew it. But there were those 5 Brady bills. Brady Bill, my lawyers with the NRA lawyers filed against Brady Bill 1 on February 28, 1994. The BATF came to our meetings and told us what we were required to do by the federal government. I said, you guys know we don't work for you. And they go, well, you would think that, but Congress passed a law, so there's nothing you can do. And I said, I don't care if they pass 500 laws. Right. I don't work for you. You can't hire me. You can't fire me. You can't tell me what to do. So they all shrugged. All the other sheriffs in Arizona acquiesced. And I filed on February 28, 1994. Sheriff Prince from Montana joined the case right after that. And then 5 others after that, all across the country. Only 1 sheriff from Texas. 254 sheriffs there, only 1. Well, there was only 7 of us. And Prince and I ended up at the Supreme Court. But Brady Bill 2 was introduced by Howard Metzenbaum from New York just 2 weeks after I filed. It didn't get out of committee because they were saying, well, I don't know, can we do another one so quickly? And number 1 is in litigation from some sheriff from Arizona. Let's see how that goes first. And then Brady Bills 2, 3, 4, and 5 died after we won. And so 7 sheriffs, the Magnificent Seven, saved the Second Amendment. And most people don't even know that.
That's where can we find out more information on that? Do you have any literature?
First of all, my book, my attorney explains it. And my first book was called From My Cold Dead Fingers. And that's on our website. And then I would recommend, all my books are fantastic. I have about 7 or 8 books there. And the county sheriff, this one right here, the county sheriff, America's Last Hope, and then this, the review of the Supreme Court case. So I recommend all of them, but we have that special I was telling you about earlier. We have a holiday sale. It's on the front page of our website, cspoa.org. And I can't believe my wife did this. This hat, she told me to wear it. This CSPOA hat. I love the eagle and the badge and the flag together like that. And this hat sells for $25. For $25 for this special, you get the CSPOA hat, a CSPOA badge sticker, the Supreme Court decision that I just showed you, and the digital form of Magic of Gun Control, and the County Sheriff America's Last Hope. All of that together is about $65. You get it all, including shipping. How did they do this to me? This is crazy. That doesn't even cover the cost of the hat. And you're getting free shipping, and that's valid until December 31st. Folks, you definitely want to do that. And thanks for showing that on the website. But folks, join the CSPOA posse while you're there. Make a donation. But get this to your family. This education and what you're going to be promoting is priceless. It's all America. And it's joining with us in this holy cause of liberty. And folks, we have so much to do that it's mind-boggling. We need you on board. You have to be helping. It's not going to be successful without we the people. So God bless all of you. As Patrick Henry called it, this is the holy cause of liberty. It hasn't changed one iota since 1776. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance, folks. And we've got to stay in the fight. And we've got to stay vigilant. And we need the funding. So whatever you can do to help with that, we need your help. And we bless each other with that. And we help train you to work with your sheriff, especially if you become part of our posse.
I'm right after this, I'm going to sign up for it because this is a very noble and worthy cause, and I 100% back this.
Well,
for our viewers out there, I just want to let you guys know this is Sheriff Mack's 7th interview today.
Yeah.
So he has very limited time with us, but I think before he goes, I would really like your take on how the sheriffs can be involved with a Trump.
The border.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Absolutely. I've already been in touch with Tom Homan. I know him. He knows some sheriffs that I know. He's very good friends with our new sheriff here in Maricopa County, the 4th largest sheriff's office in the country. Jerry Sheridan is a new sheriff. He's a very good friend of mine. I worked really a lot on his campaign. I haven't worked that much on a campaign since the last time I ran for office. I really wanted him to win, and thank God that he did. He likes Trump. He's going to have Trump's back. He campaigned on getting rid of the illegal aliens, and he will do it. If Trump realizes, as Tom already has, and I know he's already talked to Trump about it, he would put the military at the border, ask the sheriffs to start identifying the cells of gangs and terrorists that need to be removed from America, and then set up teams to make that happen. The sheriff can utilize his posse. He can deputize anyone he wants to help. They can call out the National Guard if they need to, and then use other federal agencies to help make this happen. If they coordinate that with the sheriffs, this will happen more peacefully than any possible other plan. and solution. And so we, the people, we're armed, we're trained. Let's get out there and help the sheriffs. And let's have the sheriffs helping Trump. We've got to have his back, and we've got to be involved in this process. There's too many trying to get rid of 15, 20, 25 million people. We've got to be involved in this, folks.
Oh, absolutely.
And the sheriffs are to lead the way with Tom Homan and President Trump.
Do you believe that in order to conduct such an operation, would a national emergency need to be declared? And that would assist additional funding or maybe resources or additional deputization, or how did, in your expertise,
it's very likely. But I want to see how they work it, how it works and how it begins. If they need to call an emergency, I'm not against that. It's an emergency right now.
It is.
I mean, It's destroying our country, the crime, the human trafficking, the sexual exploitation of children, the fentanyl. This was all done by Biden and Harris. And Sheriff Mark Lamb has already conducted a criminal investigation on Alejandro Mayorkas. And I've recommended him to be the director of DEA or be involved with helping Kash Patel with the FBI. Mm-hmm. We need more sheriffs in Washington, D.C. And so I hope that he'll pick more sheriffs. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, whatever Trump needs to do, and all of us, working, I would say 85% of the sheriffs will get behind him on this. And I think with that and the jail space that they have and the deputies they have and the posses they have, we can do this.
Well, and I think that this is going to help give Americans an actual mission as well. We've been distracted. We've been laying back, allowing all of these things to happen around us for far too long. And once we start to expose this stuff and we break up these human trafficking rings, and because there's going to be images of these sex rings where they been trafficking women and children, and people start to wake up and realize, holy shit, I've been sitting here watching Netflix or the Super Bowl or whatever it is, trying to mind my own business while all of this stuff has been happening around me. There's a mission calling us to save not just our fellow American citizens, but the ones who have been trafficked into this country to be used as sex slaves, the undocumented children, the undocumented women. They have been being abused right under our noses for far too long. Yeah. So Sheriff Mack, I really appreciate you coming on. And my gosh, I feel like I could talk to you for several hours because there's
let's do it again. And I'll commit to much longer when I don't do all these shows in one day. And maybe during the holidays where you're the only one I do, because I'm going to cut back during, about 10 days around Christmas.
Wow. That's an honor. Thank you.
My wife's birthday, my birthday. And, oh my God. Jesus's birthday.
Yes.
And, it's been a privilege. Thank you so much. I consider both of you dear friends, and let's get out there and save America. And folks, you got to be involved in it. Don't just listen to these guys. You got to be doers of the word, not just hearers. And I look forward to working with both of you more. I look forward to working with Trump and Tom Homan and whoever else is on the right side of the holy cause of liberty.
Yes, sir.
So absolutely amazing. Is there any way apart from the website? Do you have any social medias? I know that you got
the Constitutional Sheriffs is on Facebook and Twitter and all of that. I'm sure they're there. Main thing is go to our website, order the books. I think one book is on Amazon, so it's best just to get them off our website. But get them; they're extremely educational and powerful, especially that Supreme Court case and get that amazing deal that my wife worked out somehow.
Shout out to your wife, Dawn.
I know.
That's
hey, Mo and the Staben said next time check with me.
Hey, don't get me in trouble.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate your time, sir.
It's a great time, and we'll see you soon.
Sounds great.
Thanks a lot.
Have a great night.
Wow, that guy was absolutely fascinating. And
All
he,
right, let me turn my camera back up.
like I said, there are so many things that we could talk about for hours and
Oh,
hours
dude.
and hours. But it was hard to kind of to break it down and try to get through everything there. But he
Because
is just as based as Tom Homan. You guys, I mean,
oh yeah,
the
dude.
views that this guy has is just I want to get more out of him. I want to talk to
Yeah,
him.
for sure. Because like it's so hard to because you can tell he's a very good speaker and he likes to tell a story, which is
Mhm.
so amazing, you know. But it's like it's hard to like get everything we want to ask him within the 40 minutes that we had with him, you know, because I really wanted to divulge into like the mass deportation. I would ask him, okay, is it this like a FEMA operation where we'd have like structured organizations? Do you want to get veterans involved or patriots around the country that are armed, get them deputized? So much I wanted to cover.
Well, and
Man, this
also we're going to have to find a particular balance between the federal and I was trying to set this up earlier in the show, but we kind of ran out of time. You know, finding the balance between the federal authority, because he's had standoffs with federal authority before
right.
at the Bundy Ranch, not the Ted Bundy Ranch.
Man, when you said that, I was like, oh, somebody's gonna say something.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even, it didn't even like click. I just
Yeah.
it for some reason I just said Ted Bundy, but oh, anyhow, um, obviously there was federales encroaching. And so how are we going to find the balance with having a leader such as Trump and what authority he can
Right.
use, especially to opposition in places like Washington State or California, the governors and the states that don't want to participate in this.
Yeah,
That's going to be a tough one to handle.
I was really like wanting to ask about sanctuary cities and how, you know, because okay, just think about it. All right, so
Yeah.
it's like December 20th, 2025, and Trump's like, okay, well, shit's about to go down, right? Do all the illegals flock to these and overwhelm
Yes,
these sanctuary
that's
cities?
gonna-
You know what I mean? So
That's my
just
state.
all we have to do is cordon off these, like completely surround
Yeah.
these cities. This is what we did overseas in Iraq. We surrounded these cities with heavy artillery, tanks, infantrymen, and then we just closed in, like in Fallujah. Prime example.
Hey, you guys, I've been kind of bad at this, but we really need to give our sponsors a shout out over at the TrumpToken.com. So I gotta play this, and we will be right back.
America faces challenges like never before. Economic uncertainty, social unrest, debt implosion. The foundations of our freedom are under attack. To restore strength, prosperity, and the American way of life, Trump must win.
I plan to ensure that the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet and the Bitcoin superpower of the world.
Introducing the Trump token, blending the deflationary model of Bitcoin with the technological advancement of Solana. It's more than just a cryptocurrency. It's America's future medium of exchange. The Trump token pledges to donate 50% of proceeds, up to $50 million, to Trump's 2024 re-election campaign. Join the movement. Stand with Trump. Secure your future at thetrumptoken.com.
And they're still going strong. It's not just donations to the Trump campaign. I mean, they're going to be fighting for many constitutional changes in the future. So if you're into crypto, if you're into that, all that stuff, go visit thetrumptoken.com. And they're going to be helping sponsor some events that we got coming up, which is going to be, it's Buco good. I'm meeting Steve next week. We're going to be doing some fun things down in Texas, some Texas things.
Nah, it's Texas, bro.
Now I got to say Texas, because if I start saying Tejas, all you white folk down there are going to start thinking I'm Mexican. They're going to get out of here.
Oh man, that was such a good interview, man. I really enjoyed that. That dude is a patriot, so y'all know. Me go to Washington, Jaron? Oh no, I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, he's coming up here. He's got to ride my truck. we're gonna have to go tear some shit up. Just I don't know what exactly we're gonna do because there's not much to do here in Washington. But I mean, well, okay, all right, hold up. There's not like a bunch. There's a bunch of stuff we could do, but a lot of that stuff is just like redneck shit where it's like, oh, let's go to the woods and tear shit up and shoot guns and drink water. You know.
Yeah, lots and lots of 6-packs of water. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's like 94% water or something. You know.
Something like that. I don't know. I'm not a biologist, so. Oh man. Man, let's close out the show with the invasion that never was.
Yeah. Yesterday,
Intergalactically.
there was supposed to be a giant battle in the sky, and it never happened. Where are the aliens at? Why aren't they here? I've heard, you start going down the rabbit holes of these like UFO folks, and I love it. I just, it's fun to entertain the theories. It's fun to entertain all of the wild shit that they say. And supposedly, you guys, this was actually a couple months ago, back in September, the James Webb telescope that they sent out into space, taking pictures. Apparently, it's caught sight of an alien spacecraft of some sort. The reason that they say it's an alien spacecraft that is now coming towards Earth is because it changed its directory. It's heading at light speed towards Earth. And they said it's either going to take years or weeks to get here. So now I don't know where this came from, because it, like, trying to track that down, like, all right, where's the exact source of this? I couldn't find it. Yeah. So
I don't know. So here's my take on aliens. All right, you want my take?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
What are aliens?
So there are more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on Earth. Most of them have rock formations around it. So to state that there are 0 aliens, that's a little bit far-fetched. I think mathematically speaking, there is some sort of advanced life form somewhere in the universe. Now, do these other life forms have advanced technology where they can travel? That I don't know. I do believe aliens are real. I just don't know the complexity of it.
What about interdimensional aliens, or what is referred to as like demons, right? I mean, a lot of people say that's what they are.
Obviously, yeah. Look at Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
But do I think there's like a 5th dimension with Cthulhu waiting to be open up into our dimension and come tear us down, and we say all hail Cthulhu? No, I don't think.
What about Hollow Earth, man? You don't believe that there's lizard people?
Hey, whoa! Alex Jones has entered the chat with the lizard.
Hey, man,
people.
I could, you know what? I should send you some stuff just so you could watch, and then just so I could get your opinion, because it sucks having, like, enjoying conspiracy theories or just theories like this. It's entertaining stuff. You can learn a lot of factual things, but then have fun with the theories, right? But I mean, there's theories that the moon is a spaceship, and it's not actually a moon. It's a hollow moon, right? Because there's a lot of weird anomalies with the moon itself. For one, it has almost a perfectly it has almost a perfect orbit around Earth. It is the perfect size to block out the sun. It rings like a bell when you hit it. So you have to accept that we went to the moon and can run tests on the moon. Okay. When you hit the moon, like, you land a spacecraft really hard and then you hold it, like, test it with seismic technology. It rings like it's hollow. All of the crater impacts on the moon are the same depth but different widths, which is really interesting, because if you think that a huge impact, so some people will say that there's something incredibly solid in there that is stopping these craters from doing much more damage. Let's see
So
what else about
we haven't seen the dark side of the moon.
or have we?
I don't know. Maybe
We haven't. We don't get
well,
to.
well, you have to go on the dark side. You have to turn the flash mode on your phone to see the dark side.
Oh my God. Jeez, dad joke of the day right there.
Dad joke of the day. There you go. Yeah.
Oh,
So I like to entertain theories, but I do think like all conspiracy theories have some base in truth in it. You know, like the frogs are gay and all that other stuff. There's some truth behind you. Well, that has been proven true.
the moon is flat.
The moon is flat. Ah,
It makes perfect sense. Now that's why it doesn't rotate.
and it's made
You
out
know,
of
that's-
Swiss
it's-
cheese.
It's locked. It's locked in. You know. Well, also another weird anomaly with the moon is that the older material is on the surface, and the younger material is deeper down. So it's
I
almost
have
like it's been
not
hollowed
heard that.
out.
Oh man, hollow moon,
Yeah.
huh?
But also in ancient writings, they say that there was a time before the moon, and that some entities had brought the moon here. So maybe the aliens are just chilling up there in the hollow moon, and they can kind of travel back and forth whenever they want. And they just been watching us this whole time. They're like, these guys are talking about nuclear war again. What the hell are they doing? Maybe we should go check in on them more because they're doing stupid shit again. But maybe that's just their observatory, you know?
Maybe Earth is just like, okay. So let me tell you the real reason why aliens didn't land yesterday is because aliens were traveling by and they saw Earth and decided to roll up the windows and keep going. Because Earth is a fucking ghetto, dude.
Hey, there's a lot of
But-
beautiful places on Earth, man.
No, I know, I know.
Elon Musk puts out all this futuristic shit, and he's like, you know, dreaming of the future, which is a good thing. He can dream of the future.
Yeah.
But you know what? He doesn't ever post like beautiful pictures of like a mountain behind it or like nature. It's always just like all this technological shit. And I'm like, dude, chill. Maybe we should have like, I don't know. He started the Boring Company. I don't know if that's still going, but let's make some of this shit underground so we don't always have to destroy everything up on the surface. Because I like nature, man. Sitting out last night, it was beautiful outside, and it was silent. It was so quiet. I don't know why, but it felt like last night it was just like very, very quiet at my house, and you kind of sit there alone with your thoughts. But you can't do that in a city, man. Even if it's super advanced.
Yeah. I mean, he does, like Jeremy made a good comment. All he wants to do is travel to Mars. He wants to be interplanetary. And that, I think that is his life goal. I mean, okay, so if we are to
Do you see that?
no,
The creepy aliens just wanting to probe.
oh my God, these comments have wrecked me, dude.
Dude. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Fuck, I don't even know what I was gonna say.
All right,
Okay,
I
so
got a
in theory,
separate
okay, in
comment.
theory, in order for the
Okay.
human race to survive, we must be interplanetary. So I don't know if you know a lot about space and how stars exist, but eventually what they do is they expand into a red star before they crash down into a white star, and they have the I can't remember the huge the biggest explosion in the universe. I can't remember when a star dies. But in order the red star keeps expanding, and you have to be away from the red star because it's going to swallow Earth. So I think his vision is to start developing interplanetary environments on Mars before that happens. But you know, we could just be wasting money, and we just all die.
You know what we could do that'll be way better is you accept Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, and you live eternally. There you go. That's how the human race carries on. That's how we move on to the next stage of our own evolution. Now, obviously, we should prepare for things like the geomagnetic pole shift, you know, things like that. A couple months ago, I had on when I was doing the show with Eddie, we had on Ben Davidson, who he's the sun weather guy on X. Fascinating stuff. I check into his channel every once in a while. I used to watch it like religiously. I mean, just for a while, but it's fascinating to see all of the theories that they got, and I just kind of have to move as if that shit's not true because the world would end. But it's cool to check
Right.
in and kind of see what's going on with those folks over there. But he's a cool guy. Follow him on Sun Weatherman on X. He's got the Suspicious Observers on YouTube. Very cool stuff, fascinating. Can also scare the absolute shit out of you if you realize that hey, I mean, he's not basing it off nothing. There's a lot of science behind it. There's a lot of classified CIA documents and things that have kind of also made the same kind of predictions and why human civilization resets every so often. But I'd say that my solution to prepare for the end of the world would be to it's the same kind of advice that I have to live a fulfilled life is to accept Jesus Christ, which is so weird for me to say because I never thought I was going to be so religious growing up because there was
okay.
it was I grew up being taught that there was a God and that there
Okay.
like some kind of being that we don't understand. And
Okay.
throughout my life, I've gone kind of back and forth on religion, as most Christians do, because I met some shitty Christians as a kid, and they were they were rude, and they weren't great people. And they went to church, and they were like super religious, and I got yelled at by a bunch of adults. Because I was wearing like a skater sweater and it had like a lamb skull on it or whatever. And they're like, that's demonic. They all surround me. And
yeah.
I'm like, 9 years old and they're all yelling at me like, you're fucking with the devil. Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell? This is a skating company. Jeez.
Right.
So that actually turned me off of religion for quite a while. Or at least Christianity. But yeah, I've been through a whole journey. We'll have to talk about that another time, though.
Yeah, definitely.
That man, we're closing up on this hour. We got to figure out. We got to be able to do this more often, whether it be 3 days a week or make the shows longer. Start earlier. Start at 5 p.m. maybe Pacific Standard Time. What do you guys think? I think we should start a little bit earlier. So 5.
Yeah, I think so. Well, especially because I have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I know. I keep you up all the time. Which I appreciate you doing this, Steve. I love having this. So yeah, we should start earlier so we can run for an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes, because there's got a lot more to say.
It's
a lot
just
more
like
to talk about. I love it.
It's like almost some episodes I feel like I'm not speaking as much because, dude, like, okay, so here's the difference between me and you, Mo. So I'm staying Mo from now on because he gave me that nickname, so I'm running with it.
That's fun.
You are very articulate. You know how to really kind of bring a point across, and I think I do sometimes maybe. I feel I'm a better writer. Like I can write. Like that is like I have a very strong skill set. So I know this is only like the 17th episode or whatever, and I'm trying to get better. But I don't know. I just really like you can really carry a conversation. I feel I'm just like the Ric Flair where I'm like, woo,
Hey man, I know it does take a little while to get used to. I still feel like I'm getting used to it, man. But I spend so much time. And this is actually one of the reasons why I started speaking out in general is because I spend a lot of time alone. Most of the time when I'm working alone. And I used to work like 80 hours a week. So I would just be sitting by myself alone with not sitting. I'd be working, doing things by myself, all alone with my thoughts. And I would slowly be going crazy. Like I'm tortured by all of these thoughts that I have that it just keeps going and going and going. And finally, a place like X has allowed me to vent my thoughts throughout the day, but also kind of organize my thoughts in a place where I can then make these points in a more succinct way and kind of hone in exactly what I believe. Because just thinking them throughout the day, you'll get scattered and kind of lost with it. So that way, when it comes to the point where it's time to articulate it in a coherent way for people to understand exactly what you mean, that's a little bit more difficult to bring all of those thoughts back and then get it out. So writing it out throughout the day, or writing it out throughout the day on X, and then having time like this to be able to not just recite it, but to also expand upon those points is actually a really, really helpful way for me to be able to make these points in hopefully a succinct way that you guys understand and enjoy.
Yeah. I think like there's just so like I think you're more focused throughout the day, and I'm kind of more scatterbrained, like with different areas and topics, and like almost the saying like
Uh-oh, you're breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
I'm almost.
Bueller.
It's back. There it is.
Bueller.
There we go.
All right.
Elon Musk cut you off with his Starlink.
If you're listening, Elon, dude, bro, we need to talk. But anyways, man, I don't even know where I was going with that. But I feel like I'm just kind of scatterbrained a lot, and I just need to focus on specific topics throughout the day, and I think that would really help me out. But I'm doing all right.
I think that slows my growth on X, is because I get focused on the same shit. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to post this stuff because everybody else is posting that stuff. I want to post this, and I'm going to stick to it. And it'll get like 4,000 views, and I'm like, oh well, shit, Yep. Oh well. But if you guys enjoyed this show, please share it around. You guys follow us on Rumble. I see that there are a bunch of comments coming in over from Rumble, so I really appreciate that. Got an update from Sean. Thank you, Amber.
Yes.
And I do have Sean still in my prayers. I know that I hope he's doing well. I hope this is good news that we get to hear from you. So God bless your husband, Sean. Man, that's gotta be. I just haven't had that experience in quite a while, and I know that
it's tough.
It's tough because there's so many people going through hard times, and so it's difficult to kind of shift all of that. But yeah, tell your husband, God bless him, thinking about him, keeping him in our prayers. So hopefully everybody can just put out a prayer for Sean.
Definitely.
Pray that he's well. But I think I was saying before, if you guys enjoy the show, please share it with us. Been seeing a lot more comments on Rumble. We have the entirety of the Patriots Prayer Network on Rumble. It's also on YouTube, and we need to upload to Spotify, so we don't have that yet, but we will. At some point, we will, probably.
Eventually.
Maybe.
Possibly.
So, yeah. The Patriots Prayer. Follow me at La Native Patriot. Follow Steve over there at Steve Loves Ammo on X. I know that most of you already are, but hey, why not? Hey, Steve, is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Man, I don't know. I'm really glad we survived the alien invasion. We got another alien invasion that we need to take care of on January 20, 2025. And we're going to need all you Patriots to be well on board with this, because it's about to get real, folks. So we need y'all.
Yep. Become competent, capable Patriots. Hopefully you guys have been preparing for something for quite some time, whether it be, having a generator at your house, whether it be having some extra food, water, more ammo. I know Steve loves that.
Love it.
Yeah. Hopefully we can make some big changes come January 20th, because the change isn't going to happen from the top down. Although I know it seems that way with Trump being in charge. It cannot happen if it doesn't happen from the bottom up. That means that all of us have to participate in a certain way. If what you can do is to speak out and in support, then do that. If what you can do is to donate to those who you do support, do that as well. Or if you can get involved in your community, start. You got to start somewhere. That's the most important part. So thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. God bless you guys. God bless America. We will see you all next week, Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Texas time, whatever time that is.
Later.
God bless you guys. Take care.